This is probably the first of, oh, I've got an ant already. The first of hopefully a few kind of videos about, they're more just, I'm kind of just aiming at these for me to try and, a way of like journaling what's going on and just talking about stuff. So yeah, I don't really intend for anyone to see this, but I like the idea of putting it on YouTube so that it's there, firstly for me to be able to look at it anywhere, anytime, from anywhere without having to log into anything or anything, and also because I trust that YouTube is a big enough organization thing at this point that I can rely on it living there and not having to worry, and it's not the end of the world if I did lose it. So the way this works, I've got a big bag of popcorn. It's double bagged because I didn't want it to make a mess in the bag, as I was getting out here. And yeah, this is a spot I often come to just to do whatever, and I just over there's some fallen trees I'd normally go sit on, and other times I'll come here and see what kind of mushrooms are growing in autumn, or coming here when it's raining is also really good. And yes, I am going to speak with my mouth full of popcorn. So I've got a list of things I want to get over. And the first thing is back to kind of making videos, and I've always been very interested in filmmaking, photography, and all those visual art, the kind of things that involve a camera, I guess. But also like stuff on a computer, visual effects, well, not so much that, but more basic animation, things like that. And making stuff has always just been, making videos, taking photos has always just been something that I always come back to. And I go through these phases, these very short-lived phases of wanting to do YouTube videos about one thing, and then I go at it and I make one really shitty video that I think's amazing. And then I go, okay, this is the start of something big, and it's not. And then it happens again and again and again. It's not happened it's not happened a huge amount of times, but it's happened enough that I've kind of realized now. But I'm sure into the future I'll do it again. Even what I'm doing now is in a way, could be seen as that. But yeah, I don't know, I've kind of gotten to the point, especially when I was trying to do the typical 16-year-old or 14-year-old on YouTube and make vlogs about nothing. Yeah, and I've kind of come to this realization more recently that I don't know if I enjoy things a lot more when I'm not trying to make a video about them. Like, there's a few times I've gone traveling a few places and tried to make a video about it, but it always comes back that I'm stressing about the video or thinking about that more than the experiences and the moments. And I'll come back and go, all I was doing was focusing on making this video for nobody, not even myself. It was for an audience that I thought I had, which I didn't. And I'd make these videos and then make them again about some slightly different topic, thinking that I'm doing something wrong and that's why they're not getting picked up. Which I was doing something wrong, and I think it was that I was making videos for the sake of wanting to make videos, which, as somebody who really likes making videos. I kind of was getting stuck trying to work out what I wanted to make videos about. I just knew I wanted to make videos. So I'd do all these trips, and not so much trips, but I'd just do all these things and make videos about them. And there have been a couple of good ones. Like there's actually one I made just in this area where I've got this solar shower thing, like a camping thing that you put in the sun for a few hours and it heats up, and I wanted to have take like a twist on forest bathing, taking it too literally and having a bath / shower in the forest. But I made a little video of that, and that was good. And I still look at that and go, it was fun because I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it, and even if I wasn't making a video about it, I still would have done it. And I have also done it other times when I didn't make videos about it. But yeah, I'll get back to I've just come to this realization that I enjoy life and everything a lot more when I don't make videos and I don't tell anyone about it. And something I've seen a lot in some of the things I've been reading recently are life's a lot better when nobody knows what you're doing. And that kind of links to social media and then the news media as well, and that everyone's trying to show off to everyone else what they're doing. And people, this could be a controversial comment, but I forgot what I was going to say. People go traveling and people go to places just so they can post about it. And I've realized that that's not what I want to do, because I feel like it can be fun doing that for these people, but I feel you're not getting the long-term effects that you would if you did it without trying to do it with sharing for everybody. So I've kind of gone away from wanting to make videos about what I'm doing, and if I'm going to make videos, it's about things that I want to do anyway. And actually no, scratch that point. I don't want to make videos about what I'm doing, and I don't really want to make videos at all, apart from videos that are highly curated or the complete opposite of what this is. But yeah, that's pretty much a very vague and loosely put together idea about what I want to get out of, or what I don't want to do now, what I don't want to be doing. I'm just checking I've got a point. Yeah. Alright, so moving on from that, we're about a fifth of the way through the bag of popcorn. On a side note, something I find, a recent fact I learned is popcorn is, there's nothing in it. It's a very, the things that make popcorn bad are all the things that are put on it. If you have popcorn in its rawest form where you just pop corn kernels, there's just about nothing you're getting out of that, because you think about the tiny little seeds they are when you first get them and what they pop into. It's mostly air. Anyway, it's currently summer, and I know that I do not do well with the heat. I'm very much a person living where I live. The summers are hot and the winters are nowhere near as extreme as other parts of the world where they get snow and stuff. So I wonder if this kind of skews my perspective, but I love being in the cold, as in the cold where I live, where you get -5 degrees, occasionally a little lower at night, Celsius. And yeah, summer I just can't do summer. It's just not my thing. I really struggle in the heat. I get angry, I get agitated, I get hot and sweaty, and I just don't enjoy it. I much rather a freezing day where I can put on a jacket and put on some extra layers and not feel so exposed as well. I always like wearing at least 2 layers, hence why I've got a couple of layers. I just feel very, I don't know, I just feel like I'm not, I feel like I'm trying to stand out if I'm just wearing 1 layer. And yeah, summer is just not my thing, which summer for most people is this time of year where you get to go out and you do things, and that's why the summer holidays exist in most parts of the world. You have school breaks are in summer, work breaks, if you get a break at work, they're in summer. I've just got pins and needles in my leg, so. That's why I'm moving around, but yeah, breaks are all in summer. And the big breaks at least. And I personally feel this is such a waste of time, because for me the time where I want to get out and do things and spend time outside is in the winter. I just love the harshness of, it's not harsh here, but in another sense, the harshness of that season. So I work and I don't take leave. I have lots of leave building up, and I've been thinking about what to do with that, whether I want to wait until it cools down, which that goes without saying, but where to go, if to go anywhere, what to do, if to do anything. And I don't know, I love winter, but I think part of me, I either take a break in winter and don't go anywhere, or I take a break in what would be spring here, or go during autumn wherever I'm going, because I would love to go somewhere that gets a full multicolored autumn, because I just love the colors that you get in autumn, and the dampness and the colors of trees. And I already said that. Autumn is definitely if I was to live anywhere, I think autumn would probably be my favorite season. But yeah, I've just been trying to figure out what to do and when to go, because part of me I would also love to see some snow, but then at the same time I'm pretty happy just staying around here and having some kind of goal or task at hand, something to focus on. The sun moved. I'm gonna move back. Gosh, I'm gonna move forward. Cool. Sorry, I'm in the shade, but this is more about getting these thoughts out. There's a pine cone in my bum, under my bum. Helicopter. Okay. Where was I? Summer. Leave. But yeah, that's the main thought. I don't know, this summer's it's been very hot. And normally every summer we get a big storm, like one of those super dry, and you just get 2 seconds of rain and heaps of wind. We haven't really had that yet this year, but every couple of weeks we've been getting a pretty good couple of days of heavy rain. A couple of days ago we got, it was so good, a big storm during the day, and then in the night a few times we got a few more storms passing over, and it was spectacular. Just the constant rumbling of thunder throughout the night was very nice. And when there's big storms like that, I want to be in bed, but at the same time I want to be up and not waste them, because there's nothing, for me, one of my favorite things is sitting inside, being inside during a storm, and when the storm is long enough that the rain actually cools things down, and cools things down for a couple of days. Like at the moment we're just on the end of that period where you get a couple of days that are cooler after there's been lots of rain, and the ground here is still damp. I was wondering if I would see any mushrooms, and I might have a look later, because often, even this time of year, when there's a few days of rain, there'll be some mushrooms about. The ravens have come to play. Yeah. One of the best things this summer is that I brought myself a pizza oven, a portable one that can do, I think, up to 12-inch pizzas, but I think that's plenty big. I've realized that how much fun it is. I've realized how much fun it is to make pizza, and I've probably used the oven over 10 times now, and I've only had it for less than since the start of summer. I think I got it mid to late November. Oh, so I've had it pretty much as long as summer's been going. I've had it. It's amazing though. We had a street party for Christmas where we normally get the barbecue out and some things like that, and do sausages and all those typical barbecue foods, and I had my pizza oven going, and we didn't even turn the barbecue on in the end because everyone just loved the pizzas, and I churned out probably 15 pizzas that day. They were amazing. But also, I've realized that I was using a recipe that had, my dough recipe had, it was one that I found online, as you find, and it was, it was a pretty quick to make one. You put yeast in, some warm water, some sugar, things like that, oil, a few things like that, and let it sit for half an hour, and then you give it a knead and good to go. And I found another one recently that doesn't, it uses just yeast, flour and salt, and 2 grams of yeast for 600 grams of flour. And I tried this out, and the pizzas it made the dough was so stretchy and so nice. So I made it again last night for the second time, and it was amazing. It just puffs up in a different way. It cooks so much better, and the end result, I think because there's a lot more moisture in it as well, it's a lot puffier. And something about having sugar in quick-fired, oh, there's a spider, about having sugar in pizza that you cook quickly, apparently there's some chemical reaction with the combination of things in that dough where you just don't get the same results that you get with having it a more basic recipe. But the payoff with that recipe is that you do have to prepare it about a day in advance at least, or you can put it in the fridge for a few days or even freeze it. But it works so much easier, and I think it ultimately also makes the pizza healthier because you have a lot less dough. It's much thinner and it puffs up. There's a lot more air in it, so you can eat a lot more pizza without all the extra carbohydrates and all that from flour. But I don't want to get into the ethics of pizza. Pizza's fun, and I'm a believer that in moderation and just keeping it low salt and low sugar and all those things, it can be a lot more healthy than what you get from the stores. And half the fun of it is getting the wood fire, the fire in the back going of the pizza oven and all that. It's very fun for me. Maybe I'll do a pizza cooking episode one day. It might be good to keep at this. We'll see. But yeah, that's pretty much what's been happening recently. The other big thing is that I don't know. I have a few friends and I have an interesting relationship with them, and I think that's partly because some of them are in relationships and they're quite busy just with their own commitments. And we get on really well, but there tends to be times where they just are too busy to fit with my schedule. Because if it was up to me, I'd be going out to somewhere in nature or a barbecue and doing something every weekend, if not more, with them. And I really enjoy just doing simple things like that with people and cooking for people on the barbecues, the public barbecues and stuff. But I think they're just really busy, and as a result of that, I get really angry at them and really just annoyed, which isn't right, but I think it's just me putting so much expectation into just a couple of people, because I don't have a huge group of friends, but I have a few close friends. But yeah, putting so much expectation into these people and then not getting it makes me frustrated, which is completely my bad, because I realize that they're busy because they have a bigger group of friends and things like that. Yeah, so I've been kind of trying to find ways to... The ultimate solution would be to make more friends, of course, but I haven't. So I've been kind of trying to find ways to firstly escape the heat of summer, as well as... what else? As well as keep myself entertained when I can't hang out with people. There's a raven digging. So, one thing I've been doing is I studied video making, media stuff, and every day they would come in and they'd say to us, so as people who are interested in film, you should be watching lots of TV shows and videos and professionally made content. And I'd always be the person in the class who hadn't watched anything, because I don't know, I just didn't do it. That's the truth. Oh, my foot's so numb. So, but more recently, to try and get past the heat and just something to do, I've been watching TV series and movies and kind of making up for these, making up for all these times that I didn't. So, I realized that I really enjoy slow movies that not really much happens, in the sense of big action movies and series is not my thing. And I much prefer just not really dramas, but just slower paced dramas, I guess, and things that are more mundane in a way. But I seem to be really bad at watching things slowly, and when I find a series I watch, I just want to watch it like a movie and binge everything. And that's happened a few times recently where I've watched a whole 8-hour series in a matter of 2 days, which I know isn't that bad, but it's not ideal for me. I'd like to just be able to watch 20 or 40 minutes every day. So I've been trying to work at finding either movies that I can just watch in one sitting and then watching a couple of movies a week, or finding mini-series and just going, you can only watch this while you're cooking, or you can only watch this when you're doing this other thing, writing stuff or whatever. But yeah, just not forcing myself, but just telling myself to do things in moderation. Hope ravens don't want my popcorn. Yeah. The sun keeps moving. So, another thing I've been doing is I'm quite a musical person in the sense that I've been in bands, I even did musicals back in the day. Singing and acting on stage was my thing. Not so much anymore, but a couple of years ago, especially during COVID, I made not lots of music, but a reasonable amount. And then some things happened and I kind of just stopped for the last year nearly. But recently I've kind of been getting back into it and taking a very different approach. At first I was always listening to people and go, oh, I want to be like this person. I want to make music like this. I want to make music using these instruments. I want to make music that sounds like this. But I've kind of realized that was digging me into a hole, which wasn't entirely bad. I was creating stuff, but I'd be very selective about what I made, and I think just limiting myself creatively. So I've kind of realized that I need to make music and just make it, not expecting it to go one direction or another, just write stuff, and also focus on lyrics and telling a story rather than what instrument to use, and using the instruments as a tool to support whatever you're trying to get across, or whatever you're not trying to get across. And also getting something across. I was very good at writing songs about nothing, and I realized that you need to actually, music has to mean something to you if it's going to mean something to someone else. Trying not to leave popcorn around. But yeah. So I've been really taking a different approach to making music in that I've been doing it a lot slower and accepting that every song I make isn't something to release on YouTube or that has to go to an album. And I like the idea now of writing heaps of songs, and if they're bad, they're bad. If they're good, they're good, and not abandoning them until I have nothing left creatively to give. That sounds so, nothing left creatively to do towards them. So just writing and taking it a lot slower with no expectation, doing it because I enjoy it, not because I want to be someone who makes music. I do want to be someone who makes music, but I don't want I'm trying to focus on not just getting to that point. I want to enjoy it, otherwise why am I bothering? But yeah. I think that's everything I have to say about music for now. I think if I keep at this, which I really would love to, I want to get a bit more in depth into some things, and this has more been what have I been up to recently, what is coming up in a very vague sense. I haven't even introduced myself, and I'm not going to. So, yeah, that's it. We'll see what happens.